Hi, it's Russ from Pro Tools Expert, and I've got myself a copy of Synthogy's Ivory II, and this is the American Concert D. It's the latest version, and I wanted to give you a full overview. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the kind of technical overview first, and I'm sitting in front of my computer to do that with a very small M-Audio mini keyboard, and then what I'm then going to do is jump over at the end of this and just show you some sound demos, and it just means that I'm then going onto a keyboard with a full action and sustain pedal and stuff like that, so it's a much better way of showing you the kind of responsiveness of the piano and stuff like that. So what it is, it's a standalone, or it's a VST audio units RTAS, and if you're a Pro Tools user, very exciting, it's also AAX native as well, which is great for those of us that are getting ready for the transition to Pro Tools 11 when it eventually arrives. And it can either run obviously within your DAW, or it can run standalone and then use the sound card. So what I want to give you is a full show and tell, and then, as I say, at the end of it, I'll then start playing you some of the sounds on it as well. It's a 45 gigabyte sound library, so it took me a couple of hours to load in DVDs, 7 DVDs in all, loading in the sample library, and then I had to use an iLock to unlock it. So no good borrowing those discs off your friends and trying to use them, because it won't work. You need actually to even hear this, you need to have your iLock license downloaded to your iLock. So I did all of that, all pain-free, and as I say, I just went and registered it, got an iLock deposit, put it on my iLock account, and then I have this baby. So let's give you a kind of show and tell. What you have at the top straight away is you have MIDI, channels, and device, of course. And at the moment, I'm using the MIDI 32, but there's all the devices it can see at the moment. And we'll jump in a little while onto my Axiom Pro, so I can have some more feeling when I actually show you the sounds. And so select your MIDI device, and then all sorts of things. You can then go to controls here and do quite a lot of control mapping as well, which is really quite nice. We can use mod wheel instead to control things like the stereo width, and we go through there, or the EQ or the ambient. So we could come in and we could go wet and dry here, and we say I want to use the mod wheel from now on, and then that would then be controlled from the mod wheel. So really nice mapping for the controllers, which is really good if you want performance mapping if you wanted to use this live on a laptop or something like that. And then we have the audio settings here. So we got device there. Go in and we could choose our device, and at the moment I'm using built-in line output on my Mac. I've got a buffer size of 512. You can take it right down to 16 samples, or right up to 4096, and then choose my channels. And then I have the control panel as well, where I can go in, of course, and go straight in and actually do the alterations here within my Mac OS. And of course on a Windows machine that would be different, but that's how it would work on a Mac. Then a metronome, quite useful if you want to play along with the metronome. That's quite nice. And of course we can start that. We can also adjust it as well, choose which MIDI channel it's sending to and stuff like that, add reverb to it, take it away, change the tempo, all kinds of stuff like that. So that's quite helpful if you're doing kind of practice work and stuff like that. And again, go into device here, and we can use the output to built-in synth or something else, which is really quite nice. And then we have the Windows setting as well. We can bring all to the front anything we've got open already. So let's have a look at it in some detail. And you have a session presets here that you can have, where you can choose things like the octave it's set to, transpose, pitch, stuff like that, and mapping for the velocity mapping as well. So we can go in and we can change that velocity map. We can alter it like that, and we can alter the minimum velocity like that, and the maximum velocity as well. So you can do lots of velocity mapping. It's not brutal and just like some just give you shapes, but this one you can do, as I say, lots of good mapping on it if you want, and then set it so you've got different arc types, and you've got power arcs, and you can do really cool stuff like that. So it's very, very powerful being able to set it as you want it. So we can then save those and bring them in. So we can say warm touch, open that one up, and then that's a different setting now. So there's different presets that you can use as well for that, and then we have the session presets as well, and we can save those and bring them in if we want to. And things like all your tuning, equal tuning, stretch tuning, all that kind of stuff. So there's lots and lots of complexity that you have in there for getting it ready to making it playable. So that's all your session settings. Then we have the program settings, which are really nice. We can choose things like sustain resonance, how much we want of that, the sympathetic resonance, the pedal noise. So if you're using a pedal, I'll just jump onto my pedal a second. At the moment I've pressed my pedal, nothing happens. You might even hear it clicking down the mic. Then turn it on. We can then choose that to be quite loud if we want to. Then if we were using that, so if I change this now to be my MIDI device, to be my Axiom Pro coming in, can hear the pedal noise. You've got a pair of headphones on. That's quite useful, quite nice. So let's just go back to the device we were using before, which is the 32 MIDI. Okay, easy as that. And then we could choose different soundboards and loads. To be honest, you can really pimp this piano. That's the best way of putting it. There's not much you can't do. Release time, so key noise, the timbre, and stereo width is sometimes important when you're trying to place a piano in a mix. It's sometimes too wide, and pull that in. Then stereo perspective is performance or audience. At the moment, top notes will be in my right ear. Change it now my bottom ear, because we're looking at the piano from the other side of the piano. And lid positions, again, there's not much you can't do really, to be blunt with you. Then we've got synth. We can add a synth to it as well. So if you want to do something really nice, kind of turn that on now. Nice if you're using it live, as I say. Often in sort of ballad work and some jazz stuff, you'll often put something behind it, and some really nice stuff in there actually. So nice thing as well, you can change the octave, and sometimes that's really useful. That's really nice. And then you have program presets. So we can come in here and there's loads of different programs. So we could go like Jazz American D. It's just going to load that up because it's loading a load of samples. It'll take a moment. Quite a bright piano, that one. Then we have the effects section. We have an equalizer. Nice parametric mid there, and it really does work. Chorus if you want it. And then we have ambient reverb as well, so we could go for something like a nice big concert hall, quite big. Just push that wetness up and really do some nice effects, like kind of scoring kind of sounds as well. So we could now of course we can save that, and then we have a load of preferences as well, how we want the knobs to work, what your MIDI volume is on. So you have complete control for both performance and for recording, which is really nice. What I'm going to do now then is jump across to my other controller keyboard. And I'm going to use that so I can sort of give you a real demo of some of the sounds that I've found and give you a kind of full, so you'll hear my microphone squeaking as I move it across. So let's find ourselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to load in a program preset. We'll start with the standard factory one first. What What I'm also going to do as well is turn off my microphone for a second so you can't hear all the clicking and banging off the keys on the keyboard or off my pedal as well. And I'm just going to go through some sounds so you won't hear me talk for a bit, which is probably going to be quite nice. I'm just going to go through some of the different sounds. You can get an idea of how this sounds, and then I'll tell you what I think of it at the end. So there we are. I think I've given you a kind of overview. As you can see, there's more than we haven't got time to go through all of them. But as you can see, there's an enormous amount of presets in there that you can work with. And I wanted to show you something that's kind of pretty standard, something for ballad, something for jazz, something for gospel. They're all in there. I've not used Ivory before. People have raved about it to me before. But you know, one of the signs of a great piano, and in fact, one of the signs of a great piano plugin is actually the same as the sign of a great piano. The sign of a great piano is you sit down on it and it's hard to come back off it, because you just sit there and you're inspired and you're busking around it and you're trying it out, and it just really makes you want to sit and write great songs. And you know what? I got this yesterday. And I wanted to play with it before I did the review of it, but I sat down on it and I spent an hour and a half just noodling and doodling around on this piano. And it was like noodling and doodling around on a proper grand piano. And of course, this isn't a real grand piano. Nobody's suggesting that for a moment. But I have to say that it really is inspirational, and it's really something that I loved using. And people say to me, what gets Editor's Choice Award? And what gets Editor's Choice Award is something that I will be using, and I do use in my own stuff then. And this is one of them. So I'm going to give Ivory II, this version of it, especially as it's the first AAX piano that I know of, the American Concert D, my Editor's Choice Award. I think it's about £140. So it's outstanding value for money for what you get. You get enormous amount of piano variation there. You get enormous amount of tweakability, both for live and for studio. It's a massive thumbs up from me. And I'm not a really big fan of these things normally, because I haven't found one yet where I sit and noodle and doodle all afternoon on it. But you go and make your own mind up. I'm going to carry on playing this for a few more hours. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.